Welcome, I'm Squishei, and today I will be discussing the strategy to defeat Malkorok on the 10-man normal difficulty. Malkorok is the 9th boss in Siege of Orgrimmar in a 2-phase alternating fight. Remember that this video was made while on the PTR, and the boss may change before going live. We recommend bringing 2 tanks, 2 to 3 healers, and 5 to 6 DPS, slightly favoring ranged. Malkorok has around 377 million health, and has a hardened rage of 6 minutes where he will wipe the raid. Malkorok begins the fight by expelling an Ancient Miasma, which deals 30k shadow damage every second and grants players the debuff Ancient Barrier, which absorbs all healing and grants the player an absorb shield of equal amount, similar to Heroic Tortos in Throne of Thunder. The debuff icon comes in 3 colors, red, yellow, and green depending on the amount the shield can absorb. Note that the Ancient Barrier debuff is active until Phase 2. Arcing Smash is a conal attack focused on a random player, dealing 600,000 physical damage to all players hit. Breath of Yursaj causes the 3 previous Arcing Smash locations to explode for over 1 million damage, probably causing a death if hit. Seismic Slam is cast on a random raid member, dealing 500,000 physical damage to players within 5 yards and knocking those affected into the air. Malkorok also summons 3 void zones on the floor called Imploding Energy, which explode after a couple seconds, dealing around 500,000 damage to those inside. However, if a zone's explosion does not hit a player, then the entire raid takes the damage instead. Lastly, Malkorok casts Fatal Strike to his current target, applying a debuff that increases damage taken by 10% for 30 seconds, and stacks. When Malkorok's rage bar reaches 100, he will enter a blood rage and absorb the Ancient Miasma. While in this phase, Malkorok's attacks deal around 3 million damage in a 180-degree arc split between all players hit. Additionally, Malkorok will apply players with Displaced Energy, dealing damage every 3 seconds for 9 seconds. When dispelled, or the debuff expires, all players within 8 yards, except the debuff player, receive 450,000 damage. When Malkorok's energy reaches 0, he will release the Ancient Miasma, switch phases, and gain a stack of Relentless Assault, increasing his damage by 35%. The strategy for Malkorok is fairly straightforward. When the fight begins, Malkorok will immediately release the Ancient Miasma. During this phase, Malkorok will apply the Fatal Strike debuff to his current target every couple seconds. The tanks should taunt off each other every 6 to 8 stacks, or when the debuff falls off. The healers should try to keep the rage shield topped off and in the green zone. Since all healing is being converted into shields, a player cannot regain health until the next phase. Throughout the fight, 3 void zones will appear on the ground, and 1 player should soak each of the void zones to prevent the zone from exploding. Ranged DPS should spread in a circle around the boss to ensure that all the zones can be soaked and avoid chaining Seismic Slam. Additionally, Malkorok will periodically Arcing Smash in the direction of a raid member, and players should aim to dodge the effect. The ground where Malkorok hit will light up for a couple seconds and then disappear, and it is important to remember where these Arcing Smashes have landed. We found it easiest to divide the room into 6 sections and place raid markers to approximate where the smashes have landed. After 3 Arcing Smashes, Malkorok will cast Breath of Yursaj, and players should be in the 3 sections where Arcing Smash has not hit. After 2 Breath of Yursaj, Malkorok will hit 100 energy and absorb the Ancient Miasma. Once Malkorok enters a Blood Rage, players should group up in front of the boss to split the damage dealt. When a player gets affected with Displaced Energy, they should run out of the raid, get dispelled, and run back in. Cycle raid cooldowns throughout the phase, and once Malkorok reaches 0 energy, he will release the Ancient Miasma and gain a 35% damage buff. Due to the short enrage timer, Malkorok will enrage shortly after the second Blood Rage phase ends, giving the raid 2 full rotations of both phases. The second rotation of phases will be more deadly since Malkorok has a stack of Relentless Assault. Be prepared for more damage the second time around. To sum up the fight, during Phase 1, tanks should taunt off on 6 to 8 stacks of the debuff. Healers should keep the shields of the raid topped off. Ranged DPS should spread in a circle around the boss, and everyone should ensure that every void zone is soaked. Remember the 3 locations of Arcing Smash and dodge the breath that follows. During Phase 2, the raid should stack in front of the boss. Cycle raid cooldowns and routed the stack with displaced energy. Stay tuned for the next guide for the Siege of Orgrimmar raid. I'm Squishei, and thanks for watching.